Okay, and welcome to Session Structure and Ideas by Coach Luca. We're going to look at passing combinations. This interlinks in with the last video that I created, but we're just going to look at a simple exercise which can be progressed lots of times as you look at it more, as you deliver it, and there's lots of opportunity to expand here, but it creates lots of passing combinations, off the ball movements. There's plenty of coaching points to look at. It gives good organisation into the structure, and then you can transition into an SSG really effectively. So as you can see here, what I have is an area that has been set up. I have one blue cone here down at the bottom. I then have a blue cone here at the top, and then I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 yellow cones, which lays out a square area here. And the blue cones are just slightly on the outside of the square area as indicated here. I also have 1, 2 green cones as well. Now, what we're going to be looking at is at least one player starting here. We're going to look at one player starting here. We're going to look at one player starting there. And we're going to look at one player starting there as well. So as we're now into this session, and we have set up as we have here, what we're then going to be looking at is placing a cone here as well. So as we set up, there's going to be one cone directly opposite the blue here. So we have one black cone, and we have a second black cone just on the inside of the area here, just giving us a little bit of an angle. So now we've set up with 4 players. At the top and the bottom next to the blue cones, you can have as many players on either one as you wish. But what I'm going to look at here is putting another player in here, and I'm going to put another player in here. Now this is how I could start off to give that space on the angles for either side. Look. Or what I could do is slightly make that adjustment to move this black cone over here, giving a bit more of an angle, and then out wide. And same for this side, and then giving angles for both these sides here. So, but this is how I'm going to set up. So I've got my players in purple, and now I'm just going to move into a red. So as we've set up here, look, what we're going to start off with is a 1, 2 pass here. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2s. So as we've created those 1, 2s, and this player has released and received, and both of them have, the third movement or part of this exercise is that the ball goes out here and it goes wide into the green player or the player next to the green cone. As it's played out wide, then the player on the green cone will then receive. He will then release the pass up to the top blue cone, so there is an indication of short and long passes, and that will be movement 4 and 5 because he has received, and now he's looking at releasing to get to the top player here on the blue. Now the 6th bit would be for him to join the back of the queue here, and that's what number 6 is. So 1, 2s out wide, then we're going to receive and release here, and then we're going to knock that long pass up to the top, and then we're going to join the back of the queue. And that's pretty much it, really, to start off with the session. And it gives a nice little build-up. Now, for a team that lacks that technical ability, it's quite easy to start with those, with just one movement going at a time and building up. As you could do from one side. So you could only use the one side if you wanted to, like I started off here. But what I'd be doing is having 1, 2s from the opposite side as well. So what we're looking at is both sides are working at the same time. So there should always be 2 players in motion, no more than 2 going. And you're just going to do exactly the same on the opposite side. And then you create this diamond movement every time, and it creates a lot of ball work, natural fitness. We're looking at releasing and receiving skills, communication, organisation, discipline, getting to the area, short passing, long passing, developing that passing variation between short and long, and the type of power that we need to look at, and all the technical coaching around passing, and everything that goes in there. There's psychological, it's unopposed, and it gives a lot of freedom and foundations to allow players to have those touches, to have that movement on and off the ball, to get those passes out, to allow them to make those mistakes. Now, a real good coaching area is here on the third and fourth, fifth movements within this exercise, because if the pass from after the 1-2s for number 3 out wide is too slow, is too short, there's not enough power behind it, the touch isn't good enough, then this is a real coaching area to really highlight with your players, looking at what kind of touch they need to receive, how much power, looking at whether it's going to be on the floor, whether you want it in the air, and it gives you that opportunity to get that in. What you could do then is add another layer in here with a player coming out to press this player's space every time, so he wants to try and release the ball after the 1-2 over the player who's coming into press, or he needs to beat the player. So there's plenty of progression in how you want to see this, whether it's transition from unopposed to opposed, make it more game realistic to try and transition into an SSG. But for me, this is just simple passing combinations which can build up really simply, and they're very effective to use and build up natural fitness. What you could then do is take away the basic element from what I have here, and where you continue to build on it in terms of the main exercise as part of your session. If you use what I've done in front of you, you could just use this as a simple warm-up activity, an idea to get your players moving as soon as they arrive in a session, being nice and organised and getting those passing combinations going, and then you can transition into another part of the exercise. So this could be used as a build-up into a main session. It could be used for a lesser technical group. You can advance it through the levels, which is really effective, or you can use it as part of a warm-up then to build up and transition into your main exercise and then an SSG, which works really nicely. So this passing combination gives you plenty of opportunity to explore and structure your sessions around. Now, what I'd also like to do and just highlight here is the progression for the middle players. So what I'm going to do is just use this dark red. Now, what I'd like to do, every 2 passes, or every pass, after every pass or every 2, I would then like these players to then move off the ball and take over from each other's positions. So once these 1-2s are released, so he's received, then released, it'll be quick changeover between these 2 players to take over and cover their positions. Because by the time the 1-2s are released and then the ball's gone out wide, that gives plenty of time for these 2 players to make the switch off the ball within the middle. So they're getting off the ball movement as well. You're creating that more movement within the passing combinations and this exercise itself. So you're challenging all players. There's no players standing still. Even if you do have a lot of players going and you've got queues because you've got a squad of 20, for example, and you've only got a small space to deliver one exercise because you can't deliver the same exercise in a parallel context using an assistant coach, for example, this makes sure that there's plenty of movement. So even if you do have those long queues, you're always getting the players moving, which is really important. Now, I'm going to look at building this up in terms of where I could add in a goal, which is part of the exploration and development of this passing combinations. So what I could have here is a goal with a goalkeeper in, and I could be utilising my goalkeepers within this session then as part of that progression. So as you're then playing these 1-2s and the ball has come out wide, once you've received that ball into this player or played the ball from out wide into the player back to your starting place, what he could then do is, once this pass comes in from here and he makes his run, he can then knock the ball on for a further pass, and this player continues to run and then takes on the goalkeeper in a 1v1 situation and then joins the back of the queue again. But there's plenty of opportunity to explore this. This is just a little idea where I've wanted to incorporate a goalkeeper and a goal just off my mind when I was thinking about this session then. But realistically, it's just passing combinations, and there's a lot of freedom to keep developing this exercise and lots of progressions within this. It's also good for, again, those less technical players, and you can also regress this to support their development. But this is Passing Combinations by Coach Luca. I'm looking at developing my content and support even more, and sharing my session ideas with everyone, and supporting coaches. I'm always up for networking, so you can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can subscribe, leave likes, comments, give feedback, link me up to other sessions. And I just want to explore sessions in lots of different ways, and look at how this could be created on the grass. So once I get these passing combinations or exercise ideas up, in a way that I have done now, what I'm then looking to do is record players doing this live in action, and then doing a build-up comparison of the exercise that I've done here on the grass, and then giving an overview of how it's worked and transition. Then I'm going to build that into my coaching podcast in terms of giving feedback on how that's worked and how it could be further developed, or how I need to regress it because maybe it's been too advanced or it hasn't worked in certain ways. But this is Coach Luca, the Reflective Coach podcast. Again, always looking to receive feedback and network. I hope to see you soon, and I hope you find the content helpful. I look forward to building up some more resources, but reach out. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, Coach Luca.